Senator Cortez Masto.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, the ranking member. Secretary, welcome. Thank you for being here. I want to jump back to a public lands conversation that you had with the ranking member. In Nevada, as you well know, and thank you for being there, by the way. I appreciate your working with our state and along with HUD. But in Nevada, we support public land sales, particularly in southern Nevada, within the parameters that are set by SNIPMA. And I thank you again. You identified SNIPMA as a model, and I think it is a model, because the model was created and requires robust stakeholder engagement that really addresses all of the varied land management issues we need to work together, from affordable housing to economic development to addressing our infrastructure needs, our water needs. It's a stakeholder group, and it is important we have that. And the money actually comes back to BLM to the benefit of the lands, the federal lands in the state of Nevada. But here's my challenge. You talk about the benefits, and it should be a model, but in action, you're not actually doing that. And through reconciliation, instead of supporting the model that you talk about and tout, and the ranking member, excuse me, the chairman also talks about this as well and invokes Harry Reid all the time, but the reconciliation package doesn't really true to the SNIPMA model. In fact, in the House side, I'm assuming working with the administration, the reconciliation package included federal land sales, but those federal land sales, and particularly in southern Nevada, weren't near areas where we could actually do affordable housing. Here's a map of Clark County. It's 8,000 square miles. This is the area where Las Vegas is, and this is where the boundary we want to expand to address affordable housing and other issues. But in the reconciliation package on the House side, the pink areas are the federal land you identified, in the middle of the desert. There's no infrastructure. I don't know any builder who's going to build housing in the middle of the desert. It makes no sense. And now I'm hearing there's a proposal by the chairman of this committee, again, to put this back into reconciliation, because that was taken out of reconciliation. It wasn't well thought out and wasn't working with the local communities to figure out how we actually build affordable housing and use the federal lands to the benefit of everybody living in those states. But now I'm hearing that there is a proposal going to be put back into reconciliation to allow the federal government to sell up to 2 million acres of federal land. Is that correct?
I understand that there's some consideration of that, but I don't believe that's been formally introduced yet.
Okay, and so if you're going to look at selling up to 2 million acres of federal land, and most of that land is across the West, what states will be involved in that process?
Well, I would say that if the law passes, you know, what we would do as an executive branch is follow the law. But generically, I think when anybody's looked at land sales, they would look at the states that have been most overburdened by the federal government percentage, and among the top of that, Nevada, Alaska, Idaho, and Utah are among the states that have the highest percentage of federal land. They also
in certain states like Montana might be exempted.
Not familiar with that or understand why that would be or not be that.
And then so who are you working with in my state? If you believe that SNIPMA is a model and the stakeholders should be engaged because it makes sense, we don't want something like this where you're selling land that doesn't, it's not going to benefit you because it's not a high dollar value. It's not going to help us because it's not going to build affordable housing. So who are you working with in my state as stakeholders as we look to, as you're looking to sell some of the federal land in Nevada? Who are you talking to?
Well, we're not, I got 100 things on my plate, and right now the only activity that we're involved in on a day-to-day basis in Nevada is following the existing law, which is the Southern Nevada Lands Act.
But you just said you're going to be selling up to 2 million acres across the West.
No, I didn't say that.
Oh, you're not going to be selling up to 2 million acres of land, looking at 2 million acres of federal land in reconciliation package. I thought you said you were.
No, I think you said that, and I said that that's a understand that proposal may be coming, but
oh, okay, so it's a proposal. So as it may be coming, and if it becomes law, who would you be talking to in my state as you look to sell federal land in the state of Nevada?
Well, this is a hypothetical about something that hasn't been introduced and hasn't been passed, and so
It's coming. I mean, it's going to be dropping here any minute now. We're going to see a reconciliation package. I'm told there's going to be a sale of federal land in it. You can't deny that. Are you, or you're telling me that maybe federal land will not, the sale of federal land will not be in the reconciliation package?
wouldn't this be something the Senate would be debating?
I would hope so, and that's why I'm asking you, because we have not seen anything. The chairman has it. He has the information. It's behind closed doors. I'm assuming they're talking with the administration because you're going to be taking the lead on all of it. So you're before me now, and that's why I'm asking you the question. So if you don't know, then I'm really concerned, and we should all be concerned across the West. So that's my concern here, and I think from my perspective, and many of us in the Western states, I would hope, as you're looking at selling federal land that impacts our states, you're going to be working with us to address that. And you talked about SNIPMA being a model, but the money comes back into BLM for the purpose of these Western states, not into the Treasury to reduce a deficit. So you're also going to be looking to changing the formula. Isn't that correct?
Well, I think you're acting like I'm proposing legislation.
Well,
And
I am
I think
concerned that you're the lead agency and they're not talking to you about how the federal lands are going to be sold. Is that, so maybe I'm assuming something that is not happening here. You have no involvement in the reconciliation package when it comes to the sale of federal land?
I think what I would say, which I've said here many times, is the same principles which I can repeat over and over again, which is it would only make sense for us to sell federal lands if we were.
I get the principle, but are you actively engaged in the negotiations in the reconciliation package?
I'm not actively engaged in negotiations.
You're not actively engaged at all in the conversation around the sale of federal lands in the reconciliation package, the proposal. You're not involved in that.
There's conceptual talks about how that would lay out, but there has not been negotiations.
Okay. I am running out of time. I'm going to submit the rest of my questions for the record. Let me just say this. This is not antagonistic. This is about how we work together. In the state of Nevada, over 80% of the land is owned by the federal government. We have always wanted a good relationship, and I work towards that 100%. And I look forward to that continue. But you can't come here and say that you support a model program that was started by Senator Reid and SNIPMA and then upend it and completely do something different. And that's all I'm looking for is accountability with this administration and working with us and doing what they say they are going to do to the benefit of everybody in the state of Nevada. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
I will add here, the language will be out shortly. These things take time. We've been going through the Republican side bird process, and we're going to be releasing bill text soon. Anything on public land sales, and this will involve a public process that would be part of any sale. Senator Justice.